Most Hall effect keyboards right now are built for competitive gaming, and because of that, they usually come in smaller layouts like 60 or 65%. But this one's different. This is the Royal Kludge C96, a 96% keyboard that still has all the performance features of those smaller Hall effect boards. Things like rapid trigger, adjustable actuation, SOCD, high polling rates, all that good stuff. But now paired with a full function row and a number pad. So instead of having to choose between performance and practicality, this is trying to give you both. And with its compressed layout and thin, almost bezel-less frame, it still keeps a relatively small footprint on the desktop. So in this video, I'm putting that idea to the test to see if this actually is the best of both worlds or a combination that doesn't quite make sense. Inside the box, you get the keyboard itself. We've got a magnetic wrist rest, some extra switches, a USB cable, and a keycap and switch puller. Very clean packaging, pretty simple overall, nothing to complain about here. Taking it out of the box, the first thing that stands out to me is the layout itself. It's a 96% board, so you're getting a full number pad, arrow keys, most of the functionality of a full-size keyboard, but it's definitely in a more compact footprint. And right away, that already makes it a bit different from most Hall effect boards, which you'll usually see in smaller form factors. Most of those are purely focused on competitive gaming. And the reason being is that those are usually focused purely on competitive gaming, so they want smaller layouts and minimal keys. This one, on the other hand, feels like it's trying to balance performance and convenience. This is a full plastic body, but I gotta say the construction of the case is top notch. I usually do a little twist test to see how much flex there is along the body, and with this being a 96% plastic case, I was expecting there to be a good amount of flex. However, after trying to twist it and bend it, it's extremely solid, and even though it's plastic, it's extremely rigid. It's lightweight but really strong, and that gives it a really good typing feel when you're actually using the board. It just feels really solid. Taking a closer look, the design is very clean and straightforward. We've got double shot PBT keys, which are more durable and feel a bit better over time compared to ABS. The layout itself is really the highlight here. It keeps everything you'd want for productivity, including the number pad and F keys, while still saving some space compared to a full-size board, because they just compress down the layout itself. So yeah, it ends up being a nice middle ground. I've never used a 96 before. This is my first one, but I'm really liking the form factor. There's also south-facing RGB lighting on the board. Gives it some pop, gives it a clean glow across the desk. Overall, build-wise, it leans more toward functional than premium, but it's still aesthetically pleasing, and it still feels solid enough for everyday use. Features are really where the C96 separates itself. Instead of traditional mechanical switches, this uses Hall effect magnetic switches, which means key presses are detected by magnetic sensors instead of physical contact. That allows for adjustable actuation all the way down to extremely sensitive levels, even as low as 0.01 millimeters. That's pretty crazy. The C96 also has a scroll wheel in the upper right, along with a dedicated mute button for quick volume control. And I actually really like this implementation. First, it saves a little bit of vertical space in terms of the footprint of the keyboard layout, and it doesn't stick out as much as the usual circular dials you'll see for volume control. But more importantly, after using this for a few weeks, I've found it's just easier to control volume with that scroll wheel compared to a traditional knob. It's a really small detail, but it ends up being a little more convenient day to day, and when I think back about my experience with the board, and when I think back about my experience using the C96, it definitely stands out after using a lot of keyboards with volume control. We've also got an 8K polling rate, which reduces latency significantly compared to a standard keyboard. On top of that, there are more advanced features like dynamic key inputs, multi-tap functions, SOCD, and all those cool features that come with Hall effect boards. The C96 also comes with a magnetic wrist rest and adjustable feet, so you've got a few different ergonomic options to work with. Normally, I prefer using keyboards with the feet up to get a steeper angle, and I usually don't use a wrist rest at all. But with this one, I actually found it most comfortable to use the wrist rest and keep the keyboard flat since it already adds some elevation. And after using it for a while, it's one of those things I didn't really think about at first, but it did definitely make a noticeable difference in comfort during longer gaming or editing sessions. So if you're like me and you've never used a wrist rest before, this might actually be a good one to try. It ended up being a feature I really liked that I didn't even know I liked beforehand. For typing, the experience is smooth and consistent. Magnetic switches tend to feel very linear. There's no tactile bump, but the key presses feel clean and controlled. You can also adjust the actuation point to make typing feel more deliberate. One thing that's cool about Hall effect boards is you can adjust that actuation point to make the typing feel more deliberate or lighter if you want. Internally, there's a triple layer dampening setup, which helps reduce some of that unpleasant hollow sound. So overall, it feels good, but it's definitely tuned more toward performance than typing feel and sound profile. Speaking of the sound profile, here's a quick test to show you what it does sound like. Gaming is where this keyboard really stands out. Obviously, the rapid trigger feature alone makes a noticeable difference, especially in games where movement matters. Most of the time, you're going to see people using it in FPS games, but even when I'm using it in games where you have to drive on the keyboard, it just makes things feel so much more responsive. Once you dial in your actuation settings, it can become even more precise. Against a standard mechanical keyboard, you can tell a difference in responsiveness. It's not a world of difference, but you can feel it. So obviously for competitive games, this is easily the biggest advantage of the C96. So who is the C96 for? This keyboard makes the most sense for people who want competitive level performance, but maybe don't want to give up a full layout. If you play FPS games and care about movement and responsiveness, this is where a magnetic board really shines. But if you're just typing or doing general use, a traditional mechanical keyboard might still be the better fit for you. Just depends on what you're looking for. Overall, the Royal Kludge C96 is a really interesting keyboard. It's got high-end gaming board features in a pretty affordable package, and the fact that it's in a 96% layout makes it even more unique. I think it's a strong value, and I recommend checking it out if you're looking for a gaming and productivity hybrid board that offers a lot of bang for the buck. Alright guys, that's all I've got for this one. I hope it was helpful. If this video helped you make a purchase decision, please consider using the affiliate link down below, as it really does help support the channel. Don't forget to like and sub so you don't miss the next keyboard review. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.